What's up, Detroit? It's your man Jack. As I told y'all, man, bring y'all the best everything. Today, I got a brother Hakim in here with me, spoken word artist, mentor, author. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let him break down exactly who he is. What you doing, brother? I appreciate you, man, for coming up here, man. Bless me with your presence, bro. I just wanted to touch the basics with you to get out there. There's different avenues other than just hip hop or music. It's actually a way to express yourself through words.
That's right. That's right.
Break down your catalog for them.
And you know, the thing about hip hop is hip hop was primarily used as an educational method, as an educational message anyway. You know, so that's pretty much how I took it. You know, being raised in the hip hop era. I'm 45 years old, and I've always clung to the art form. You know, I consider myself a b-boy when I was young. I used to spray paint, graffiti, break dance. You know what I mean? I did it all. You know, and words was always important to me. When I was spray painting graffiti, I didn't know that I was actually spraying poetry. You know, I didn't know that single word was a poem. I understood that poem represented a message. It represented a story, you know. So when I sprayed that word on the wall, I was trying to tell a story through the art, through the depictions of the things that I had put together, you know, artistically. And as I got older and came into contact with incarceration, I felt a stronger urge to tell my story. And so I needed more words to tell that story.
So you honed your skills when you got locked up?
Honed my skills when I got locked up.
So would you say it helped you or did it hurt you more?
For me, given my set of circumstances, it helped me. You know, incarceration was a blessing in disguise. For me, I went to the penitentiary at the age of 18, which wasn't an unlikely scenario for me, given the fact that I was raised in the streets, had been hustling all my life, had picked up pistols at an early age and used them and injured people with them. But at the age of 18 in the city of Milwaukee in 1991, I got in a fight at a liquor store, man, and that fight got me in custody with a couple of my friends from Milwaukee, and the police decided to play an interrogation game, question us about unsolved crimes in the neighborhood, crimes we ain't know nothing about. Ultimately, one of us confessed to a crime of murder that we didn't have nothing to do with. Wow. And that was in 1991. I went to trial, convicted, just off this one man's false testimony, sentenced to 45 years in the penitentiary. From that point on, I had to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And like I said, while I was there, I discovered spoken word poetry as an art form, as therapy as well.
And I want guys to know that too, like, man, not just poetry, but even hip hop, R&B's, however you do it, man, get it out there. Stop bothering it all in. Get it out. Like they say, pressure busts pipes.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And like he said, it's a way to get the emotions out there. And you'll be amazed about exactly what that emotion really can trigger in you. Beautiful song, like you said, poetry, anything, man. Open your mind, for real. But I just heard you was in NY.
Mm-hmm.
What part?
I was in Harlem. You know?
Harlem, what? I watched Luke Cage, do y'all? That's where he was at, protecting Harlem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But how was the experience down there?
It was beautiful, man. It was really beautiful. You know, in conjunction with the work that I've been doing in the community as a spoken word artist, I've been doing criminal justice reform. So I was in New York. I work for an organization called Just Leadership USA. Okay. It's an organization of formerly incarcerated persons or formerly incarcerated people that's impacted by the criminal justice system. And we organize nationwide around removing the barriers for those that have been incarcerated in housing, employment, education, etc., as well as really pushing campaigns to reduce the prison population at least in half by 2030, because we now know it's over 2.3 million people that's in the penitentiary. We can reduce that in half. We will really, you know, bring back and restore our community to a great deal.
All right, so do you feel like in your own opinion, you know, a lot of people's opinion, a lot been said, do you feel that prison is made really to punish, or is it really for profit?
In the real scheme of things, it's designed for kind of both. It's designed to punish while simultaneously making a profit off that punishment. Because when we look at the penitentiary really is an extenuation of slavery. Slavery's whole entire point was economics. It was to make money off free labor. And little do we know, inside the prison system, aside from taxpayers flipping the bill for it, prisons around the nation make money off having us work free labor or making 20-something cents an hour or $1 an hour.
20-something cents. Y'all hear that? Come on, man. Y'all young brothers gotta wake up, man. I need y'all to really hear what's being said, man. 20 cents an hour. And people around here telling you need $15 an hour. You imagine that, man? 20 cents. Come on, man. Open your eyes. Listen. So, I want to get like a full understanding. Like, but I see you involved in a lot. Like, I want to hear something about nonprofit organizations. You've been doing that. Like, how do y'all get back as far as that?
Yeah, nonprofit work, is the domain outside corporate America, so to speak. A nonprofit is pretty much someone who has a real genuine idea to do something for the community, in the community. And the way the federal guidelines are set up, you can't make a profit off of that, off of you trying to give back to the community. So nonprofit work is the basis from which I do most of my work. I work for 3 different nonprofits, actually. And working in this area, in this field, gives us a greater opportunity to really work within the community. Aside from, for example, say you wanted to open a store in your community or a clothing store, for example. It's very hard to do that because you have to actually sell products. You know what I mean? If you don't sell products, you're out of business. When it comes to the nonprofit work, you have to deliver on the service of giving back to the community. So that's what we're doing, giving back to the community. I give back to the community through education, through criminal justice reform, through grassroots community organizing, etc.
All right, so it's a thing I keep hearing, and this is no snitching policy. Do you feel that that's like really tearing our community as black people? You think it's tearing our community apart, or like what's your views on it?
I think we need to distinguish between what we're talking about when we say no snitching. So if 2 individuals commit a crime together,
right?
One of them get caught and that individual snitch, that's what's being discussed about no snitching. Primarily, we get it confused if, for example, we see somebody riding down the street and shoot out the window and shoot somebody in the car, as if that shouldn't be something that should be reported. This is an individual who has reckless, responsibility in the community. This individual may not need to be out in our community right now. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we should be coining the two together. We need to make a distinction between what we're talking about. If me and you commit a crime together, we both responsible for that. If I get caught and you don't, I gotta go down. You know what I mean? I gotta go down and accept my responsibility for my actions. And if you done got away, man, God bless you. Hope you change your life around while I'm doing this bit. You know what I mean?
Now y'all understand the difference. Stop letting people shoot your block all up and injure people and thinking it's a damn game. And, I don't want to be no snitch. Now, you gotta remember, when it's one of your people, I guarantee you want everybody to talk. I guarantee it on everything. But I had to talk to you about this, man. The spoken word community. I be trying to reach out to people, man. It's like they so close knit. It's like I gotta have a pass from somebody to really. How do I get in there?
Yeah, really, you got to show up where the spoken word poets are at. It's going to be hard to get a spoken word poet to come out, to come meet with you if they don't really know you. And it's a real tight-knit community because when you look at it, spoken word poetry pretty much is the bedrock of hip-hop. When you go all the way back to the first artist that was doing hip-hop, these were cats that harnessed the word in small cafes, you know what I mean, and in real tight-knit controlled environments like underground studios, underground clubs, etc. And they pride themselves off of their anonymity. You know what I mean? They like to be, secretive, so to speak, not for the sake of being secretive, but they like their privacy, In the spoken word community, you got to come to them. You know what I mean? You can't expect them to come to you, but you got to come to them. If you go to one of these various open mics, particularly here in Detroit, there's an open mic every single night of the week. Go out there, broadcast the show live.
Is it like a certain place where it goes down a lot that I can be more, make more a little bit more available to me because I don't really be knowing.
Right.
What place would you recommend?
I would say the Artist Village. The Artist Village is right off Grand River and I forget the name of the other street right off, but it's right off Grand River, right around the corner from the old what's the name high school? Yeah, Lasser. That's where it's at. It's on Grand River and Lasser. The Artist Village on Grand River Lasser will be a place I would say go check that out. It's owned by Alicia George, great community, activist in our community, and it's a place where spoken word is really alive. You know, and not only spoken word, but hip hop is alive in a place like the Artist Village. So I would definitely go check that out, man, on Grand River and Lasher. The Artist Village is an appropriate place to go to.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I mean, so as of right now, if I say today, like, what projects are you really most involved in? Like, where's your heart at?
My heart really right now is in Just Leadership USA. And in this capacity, I'm the Michigan statewide organizer for Just Leadership USA, working on a campaign called Working Future. And the Working Future campaign is important to our community because we're missing our fathers from the lives of our children. We talk about, you know, community violence and the reason why our children are growing up the way they're doing. We're missing our fathers, and where are they at? They're in the penitentiary. They're on probation and parole. They're in and out of jail every day. The Working Future campaign is designed to get stability back to those individuals that have been impacted by incarceration. Working Future is designed to remove the barriers in education, remove the barriers in employment, remove the barriers in housing and health, so that when we come home from the penitentiary, like when I came home, I didn't have much of a support base. I had a good friend of mine who had a business, and he offered me a job. Everybody ain't got that. You see what I mean? So when you come home, we want to remove the barriers to employment, for example. So when you come home, you're coming home as a returned citizen. Your rights should be restored to you, your citizenship rights, in which you have the right to employment, the right to fair housing, the right to fair employment, the right to education, right? So this campaign is a national campaign. We in several different states with it. I'm the statewide campaign organizer right here in Michigan, and my goal is going to be to find ways, find partnerships to remove those barriers for anybody coming home from prison, anybody impacted by probation and parole, etc., so that you have a fair chance, a fair opportunity to succeed in life.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. Matter of fact, Detroit, y'all hear this, man? We going, man. We vibing, man. I'm gonna hit y'all with some more right after this short video, baby, in a minute.